teaching your pup how to walk on a leash, or your dog, for that matters. Hi, I'm Charles and you're watching our Protection Dogs with a special edition with working with a little cockapoo by the name of Annabelle. Annabelle, okay, let me put it down. Okay, so today's video is about how to get your dog to walk on a leash. And this is what everybody struggles with, is walking on a leash. First of all, how we start with it is to get a leash and a collar, just a normal flat collar. Annabelle, come baby. Here with a little help from my wife. All right, so here we have a little collar for her, on her. There we go, her little collar. And how I like to set the collar is just to have one finger to slide between the neck and the collar quite comfortably. I don't want it too loose and I don't want it too tight either. I don't want the dog to be able to pull the collar over her head by herself. So how I start and how we start with it is we first introduce the dog to the collar, and that's quite easy. We get the collar, we put it on the dog, and we leave it on the pup, and the pup gets used to the collar. A lot of your breeders already as puppies have collars on them to mark the different dogs with different color collars, so they are already used to collars when you get them. Alright, so the idea with a collar is that the dog carries it and you'll take it off and put it on, and to have them carry it for long periods of time. Be very careful in this time when the dog's got the collar on that it can't hook in anything in the garden or anything like that. If it is plants and things that it can hook onto, rather take it off and rather have it so where you can supervise when the dog's running around with a collar. Once the dog is used to the collar, this is our indication that we're now going to take our leash and we're going to have a bag full of treats, and what we want to do is we want to hook the collar onto the leash. And the first thing that's going to do, as soon as the dog feels this pressure, it's going to fight the pressure. So if you're pulling this way, the dog's going to pull that way. All right, this is a natural reflex of the dog. So we're going to teach the dog to go with the pressure. So when we pull to the dog, it's fighting this way. We want to teach the dog to come to the pressure. That's where we have our bag of treats. And with our bag of treats, what we're going to be doing is we're going to put slight pressure on towards us and call the dog at the same time. And as the dog comes, it gets rewarded for coming to us. All right, pressure, a reward. And we're going to do this the whole time until we put that pressure on the leash and the dog automatically comes to the pressure. This now, the dog starts, or the pup starts understanding that if there's pressure put onto him, that he needs to go to the pressure and not fight the pressure. This is very important. A lot of times you get those dogs that will be over there and somebody puts pressure and the dog starts throwing a tantrum, rolling around, even squealing. I've seen horrible pictures like this, and the owner goes berserk and saying, "Oh, what do I do?" Well, you cannot let the dog get away with it, because if you now give up to this and stop trying to get the dog to walk on a leash, this is what's going to happen is the dog then understands that every time there's pressure being put onto me, that if I throw this kind of tantrum and roll around and scream like that it's going to stop. And this is when the dog starts teaching you, and you're only creating a problem. So by doing it this way, by the pressure and letting the dog come to the pressure with a reward, we teach the dog that pressure means come to me. All right? Pressure means go with the pressure. In this case, come to me, as I said. Okay, now the dog understands the pressure part. Already we have a bag full of treats, like we know, and we start walking around. As we start walking around, you'll see me walking backwards. This is easy for me, walking backwards, and the dog coming into that heel position. So the heel position can either be on the left, it can either be on the right, which one is comfortable for you. We prefer the left-hand side from working dogs and everything like that, so we use the left-hand side. Dog comes into the left-hand side, and I use my body by walking backwards, so the dog follows me, and a little bit of leash pressure every now and then when the dog starts lagging or wants to go and pick up something else that's there. And every time the dog comes to that heel position, obviously it gets a little treat. This is how I'm going to carry on with my puppy. This does not take 2 days or 3 days. It takes way longer than that. So that is what you have to understand. You need to make this a very nice experience for the pup. The pup mustn't be or the dog mustn't feel that this is horrible for it to have all this things around my neck and people pulling me. And please guys, remember, a leash and a collar is not made for picking the dog up or choking the dog and stuff like that. If you need to give the dog a correction, it's a slight tuck on the leash, which will then correct it on the collar, obviously. Okay, a lot of mistakes I see people make when they're working with the leash, obviously, is they never taught the dog about the pressure. I just want to show you this. Yeah? Oh, sweet. Isn't she just the cutest little thing? Okay, off you go. A lot of times they haven't taught the dog to come to the pressure. The dog will fight the pressure. They're trying to do it too quickly. For instance, trying to rush it, trying to take that dog, get the dog too quickly into the street or to the doggy park, wanting to walk it onto the leash. Rather walk it in a controlled environment like your yard, or maybe if you don't have a yard, an area that is familiar for the dog. It might be in a parking area where you park your car overnight or anything like that. So take your time and making this a very nice experience for the dog to walk on a leash. With the leashes, you don't want your leash too tight. This is one thing I see that people do a lot of mistakes, is the leash is either too tight or too loose. The big thing is if that dog starts throwing a tantrum, rolling around on the ground and pulling towards it, and they go, oh shame, and give up to it. And that is the worst thing that you can do, because like I said, you're teaching the dog now how to get out of the situation. You don't want that. But if you're going to go on like I explained to you now, where you're pulling on the dog and the dog comes to that pressure, if you start off like that and you're doing it slowly and you carry on doing that, there is no reason why your dog should throw those tantrums of having a leash and collar around his neck. Now, the other thing is training tools out there. In the beginning, you do not want to start off with something that's going to choke around the dog's neck. Might it be a choke chain, a half choke, a prong collar? Ooh, a prong collar. Yes, a prong collar, or anything like that, or a slip leash. You don't want to start training your dog on things like this, because this is just making it worse. Try to start off with a flat collar and doing it nicely and doing it controlled with your food, like I showed you. Watch onto my little videos that how I do it, and everything is nice for the dog. There is some corrections, like when she wants to jump up on me or anything like that, but there's a lot of rewards, and I'm making it fun, and I'm keep on moving so that the dog can follow my body. I hope this is going to help you. If you have any questions regarding how to get your pup or your dog to walk on a leash, please put them at in the comment section below. If you haven't done so, please subscribe and like this video. And if you need to contact us privately and want to speak to us, you'll find our email address on our channel. And I think that is me regarding how to get your pup to walk on a leash. Before I go, see about my feeling means. I'm going to say goodbye to the people. Look at the people there. Look there. This is Annabelle, the Cockapoo, the most prettiest little thing I've ever seen in my life. Cheers.